All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing a review on Enemy from 2013, mystery thriller. It's about an hour and 30 minutes. Let's get into the synopsis here. A mild-mannered college professor, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, discovers a lookalike actor and delves into the other man's private affairs. This movie got 1 million in the box office in the USA. The runtime is an hour 30, and the distributor is A24. Don't know if you guys knew that. Nope. And it got a 71% critic score and a 64% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
But it's a movie that will be talked about for a lifetime.
Yeah, I didn't know it made that little on the box office. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
That's the thing is, like, dude, even in 2014,
felt more like an indie.
Not a lot of people went to the movies.
Yeah, but an A24 film, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. You thought this felt like an indie film? I don't know about that.
I think technically it is.
Oh.
It had a very small budget.
It wasn't as established back then.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean this is my recommendation, so I want to hear your guys' opinion on it.
All right.
Yeah, so sex again. All your recommendations have like graphic nude scenes. I can't watch them with my mom.
No, every single one of your recommendations starts off with a sex scene so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to see.
But it's a good movie. It doesn't have. That's not the premise of the story.
I think it's the premise of your picks.
Yeah, Aiden's next movie pick will be available.
I hear about these movies. I watch them. I listen and I hear recommendations about these movies. I put them on the list, and then when I see one pop up, I watch it, and it just so happens to be that.
Yeah,
but I mean that's just Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I can go first here. I didn't know what to expect in this movie. I didn't even know who's in it. So when I saw Jake Gyllenhaal, who's one of my favorite actors, probably top 10. Yeah, I was really excited to watch this. And I kind of liked how short it was. And it kind of, I don't know your guys' opinion, but like it felt quick. Whereas like I think if there was an extra 20 minutes, it would have felt too long. So like I think it was the perfect length. Not quick in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy that they jammed like the story and made it flow that nicely, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is one too that I believe both of you guys can back me up on. When you watch this movie, you need an explanation after. Like, sure. I hit YouTube right after I watched this movie 100%. Because I was like, "What did I just watch?"
Did you read the comments for those videos?
It says
all the comments say the same shit.
I just finished this movie. Yeah. I came right to YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you kind of need to, which I feel like that kind of plays in with why it has a lower audience score, because your average audience person probably doesn't care that much. They watch this movie, they go, "Oh, that was stupid," and check out. Versus like, I don't know, people that are a little bit into movies probably are like, "What the heck?" And they want to look up, they want to understand a little bit more.
Yeah, it's more of like a movie. It's like a film that you study. It's not a film that you like watch and enjoy. You know, you're not gonna like put this movie on again and just watch it for your enjoyment.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch.
It doesn't have like rewatchability factor.
I think it does have a lot of rewatchability.
Possibly because just pick
because you can interpret it in different ways, and there's not a definite like answer. I think you can rewatch it to notice things on the second time through. Because even the YouTube videos I was watching on the breakdowns of these, watching them break it down again and watching those scenes again was like, oh shit, I missed that the first time around because I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for the first 20 minutes until they got in that hotel room together, I thought it was a clone.
Yeah.
So
that's what the story is supposed to do.
Too.
I mean, everyone does.
But I texted you guys. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you told me that you were going to start it while you're at work, and I'm like, I feel like you're going to come on here and bash it because you weren't paying full attention to it.
I was in a different room.
Josh would never do such a thing at work.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but no, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're sitting down, like, full attention to it, like, all right, like, listening to every word and doing that, like, I just thought you might have a different outcome.
Oh, no. I was picking up on something because I texted you guys when there's 40 minutes left. I kind of just want to read my text I sent to the two of you because you both had already seen it. I think we've all only seen it once, right? And you watched it somewhat recently, Aiden, and then recommended it.
Yeah, like about a month or two ago.
Yeah, so I said there's 40 minutes left. I said it's all in his head. He's the same person just living two different lives when the movie starts. He's convinced himself he's a completely different person because he's studying being a professor for a movie role, and it's gotten too deep. Now that ending part I was wrong.
Right. That's why I said just wait till that ending.
Yeah, but like I was at the point where like they had met up for the second time, and I'm like, okay, no character's ever seeing them in the same room, and he takes the phone call from the wife
Dude,
at the
that's
university
such a crazy
once he's
scene,
around the
man.
corner. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those two things to me was like, okay, he's the same person.
But so the thing about that scene is like, even with all the other scenes where his wife, the pregnant lady, I'm not too sure of their names. I mean, I can look them up.
Helen
Anthony,
Bell.
No,
Yeah, I got the names right here.
Yeah, but his wife, the pregnant wife, I think she knows that he's a professor. And if you interpret it that way, like she goes and she literally is looking at this guy and she's like waiting for him to say, like, what are you doing here? Like, you're my wife. And he just goes, hey, like, how long or how far along are you and shit like that. And it's like that's where she just loses it. And that's when she's on the couch, she's like, I think you know what I'm talking about. Like, I visited you at, or he looked just like you, he was a professor and all that. And she knows. And she's just playing along with him because she's not gonna just be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, it's obviously a medical condition.
Hey, babe, you might have multiple personality disorder.
And then
you
she
need
literally
a doctor
goes
right away.
But she's frozen when he like, all right, well, I gotta get back to work. And he like moves his hair and then he walks. And then she literally like shakingly picks up the phone. And then he goes into the door and then you just hear him answer, dude. It's crazy. It's scary, man.
Ooh, I think another good scene is when he's like, he's in the bathroom and he's yelling at himself. Yeah, at what he's gonna tell himself, essentially.
Yeah.
The other crazy part that like really threw me off was I watched it the first time. I'm like, damn, like that actually is his clone. Like, and I'm trying to like make the plot in my head like, oh, he's gonna go to the thing. He's gonna go to meet him at the motel, and then he's gonna kill him, and then he's gonna end up taking his life over and stuff like that. But I'm like, then I watch it, I'm like, holy shit, like he hasn't been there in 6 months. He doesn't even know how long the baby's been because he's been gone 6 months. And like, you know, like the guy at the at his apartment knows. He's like, where you been? And like even the key with the envelope, that's like the greatest conclusion to like a movie that I've seen in a long time. Because they hint at envelope right at the beginning and they show the club. So I don't know.
Well,
I'll
and
kind
then
of get my story going at the end.
And two, for that first 10 minutes, you think he's the same person, obviously. Yeah. So it's like
you're like, watches the movie and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So once I was like, oh wow, like even his doppelganger has the same beard and everything as him. I'm like, some of those scenes were probably the other person, and I'm just like missing it. Not really, you know, because I'm thinking it's the same dude. Because I'm like, and then I'm like thinking like at first I was like, who was the guy at the very beginning that went to that like sex thing? And I was like, oh okay, I put it together.
I completely forgot about like the entire intro to this movie.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that at the end because there's kind of like a looping situation.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like I thought I'm like I almost thought like, do I rewatch this bitch? Like literally I was thinking that
I really wanted to.
Yeah. So and that's my point right there is like there is rewatchability for this movie, and with it being so short, I feel like you can.
I would say if you're invested in the story,
100%,
you could definitely get some rewatchability out of this. If you kind of want to just move on per se, like I don't know if I'd rewatch this. Nonetheless, it was still really good. I feel like we should kind of dive into the ending, even though we're kind of just
we can. Wait, well, hold on. Let me before we get to the ending. What did you guys think multiple times throughout the movie when we see the spiders? The first watch around. I mean, I know we've seen the videos and we'll talk about that, but I mean, like while you're watching it for the first time, what did you think of the spiders?
I just thought this is a really weird movie. Like I didn't think too deep about it. I'll be completely honest. I did maybe think that Tom Holland was going to show up and be Spider-Man, but
my thing is that, like I said,
he's Mysterio.
He would have been like 13.
God, we're bringing up Marvel movies. Mike's not even here.
I follow all these film like Instagram accounts, and they're always just pushing movies. Like all the movies that I've never seen that are like one of my favorites are because of those. Like I remember I saw them post like the spider scene of it walking over the city.
Yeah,
and I'm like, damn, I thought it was like some alien movie. And I put it on my list, never thought anything of it. And then I was scrolling through HBO like deep, and it just came across like a recommended under one of the movies I was going to watch. And I look at my list, I'm like, oh shit, this is Enemy. So I went to watch it, and then you don't even know. Like, that's the thing is I like to watch movies and I like to like try to like make the movie in my head. Like, oh, this is going to happen. Predict what's going to happen next, scene by scene. Mm-hmm. And this was complete opposite. You can't. It's all over the place. You can't predict anything.
Yeah, and the only reason I texted you guys that when there's 40 minutes left is because I knew there's a wacky ending, and so I just wanted to try to guess. I knew it would be wrong. I don't think I was that off, but
but that's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
But my thing is like when I watch this, I'm watching it and I'm literally like before I go to bed, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? I'm like, this makes zero sense. Like this might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's kind of what I was thinking as I was 100%. Watching. Like, this is so strange. I want everything to make sense. And they kind of so this is a movie
after you look into it, though. I feel like
after you look into it,
yeah.
But you know what I feel like is a decent comparison to some degree. Josh, I don't know if Aiden saw. Aiden, did you ever see Don't Worry, Darling?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel like this kind of has a similar feeling because like the first like hour and a half of that movie, you have no idea what's going on, and then like the last like 30 minutes, things start making a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
That had some resolution where this like, I mean, we'll just say it ends with a big spider.
So yeah, but that's the thing is like I wouldn't really compare this to Don't Worry, Darling, in a sense that that's like I don't know. I mean, it's a psychological.
I'm just saying how it's like
I know
written.
What you mean. Yeah, but this is the point of this movie. It's based off a book called Double, I believe.
The Double.
Denis Villeneuve likes to, like we said, you were talking to your dad about all those other movies that he did. Sicario, Prisoners, he's done Gone Girl, he's done
Dune.
Literally
what
all the
guy.
Greatest movies, man. And that's why like he's by far one of my most like favorite directors of all time.
Yeah, I didn't know his name until today, and I guess I mean I've watched obviously a ton of his movies, but I didn't know it was the same guy making all these movies.
Yeah, and they're all good. There's not one bad one. That's like the craziest thing. They all have that same tone. Like they're just mind fucks basically.
Well, and then too, he can make Dune, which is like over $100 million grossing, and then he can make this, which is $1 million. You know, like he's very flexible too. He's not just a big box office guy.
Did you guys ever see Dune? Sidebar, real quick. Okay, I never saw it.
I'm excited for the second one.
Gonna be really good.
Yeah, I want to see the second one in theaters because the first one came to streaming.
Book. I read the first book. I know it's a couple of them. I only ever read the first one.
Yeah, he did really good in that too.
To kind of close out on what I was saying about like my whole thing on this movie is that I'm watching it. I'm completely invested. I'm like, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Then it picks up at the end. He dies, and then he gets in the bed with her, and she like puts his hand on her stomach. She's like, "Stay," or she goes, "Did you have a nice day at the school or something like that?"
That's in bed.
Like, oh, and he's sitting there like he's never even met her before. And then, like you said, Josh, the loop at the end. But the fact that I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, this movie sucks. And then he goes, "Honey, you there?" And then you're like, it is dead silent in the tune, like the score that they're playing. And then out of nowhere, I was like, ah.
Like, so did that scare you, Josh? I jumped a little bit.
And that's all.
Not even gonna lie.
Like that's all it was.
No, I don't know, because I was picking up at that point. Once you see the woman in the hallway, walking with the spider as a face, I started picking up on it being a fear and a temptation kind of thing. I was picking up on it. So the spider at the end didn't really freak me out, and it kind of started making sense to me. Honestly.
Dude, that is a saying that's one of
these. People say that this is one of the scariest movies they've ever seen. And I honestly would like that jump scare because you don't expect it.
But see, I'll be honest too, I never watched it. I was never watching it thinking like, oh, this movie sucks. I don't know. I kind of was hooked the whole time.
Not even that, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, that ending, that immediately I'm like, so first off, I'm with Aiden. I was watching this late at night. I was like about to fall asleep. I see that scene. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like literally, I was like, what am I watching? I was very. The best way is it's not that it scared me. It made me incredibly uncomfortable.
100%.
Oh, really?
And that's why I don't know if you guys remember when I recommended this. I was watching it. Didn't even tell you guys like, hey, did anyone ever watch Enemy? Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. A24 produced it, and Denis Villeneuve directed it. I'm like, this is literally everything that you want in a movie.
Oh, see, I didn't even remember any of that.
So I texted that, and then I took a shower, went and watched it, and then I literally was like, right when that ending and it cut, I was like, I texted you guys immediately. It was like 1 a.m. I'm like, we have to do this movie. Like, I can't be the only one to like watch this and not have anyone to talk to about it. And I'm glad that we did this because
I like how he just sighs too.
Yeah, because he accepts it, and then like you said, I mean, you can go into the loop aspect of it because like, hey, your mom called.
Yeah. So okay. So Adam and Anthony. I mean, you can interpret it different ways, right? I I think actually all the actors had to sign. I read this for the trivia part of the end of the episode, but I read a thing where all the actors had to sign NDAs and they couldn't explain why the spiders are in the movie to anyone, which is really fucking cool. Basically, bullshit. Yeah. So basically, Adam and Anthony, you're supposed to think they're different people throughout the whole movie. They are the same person. And it's led to believe, that Anthony and Helen are the real couple. They're he's the real one is Anthony. And it's a looping situation. So that's why he ends up seeing the spider at the end.
Is real.
Mary's real.
When he's just cheating. Yeah, but
yes. So there's a point where Helen's yelling at Anthony, asking who he was talking to on the phone in the bathroom, and he's saying it's a man, it's Adam, the guy who was calling earlier. Mm-hmm. She doesn't believe him. She says, like, were you talking to her? Which we believe now is Mary.
Right? Not seeing her again, are you?
Yes, yeah. And two, like there's things like a car accident happens later on at the end of the movie, and it happens immediately after Helen tells Adam that she wants him to be there and stay with her, and then immediately the car crash happens, killing. Believe is killing them, the other half, right? So, but then there's a looping situation at the end, and that's why he sees the big spider, is because he's going to loop all over again and go back to, because he receives the key, he's going to go back to that sex club and do it all over again and cheat again. So that's why I kind of was picking up, because I watched the movie and then I took a shower. And then I watched YouTube videos. So I was in the shower kind of thinking about it, breaking it down in my head. And that's kind of
about spiders.
But spiders don't freak me out. If it was a big rat. Yeah. And people don't like spiders. And so like, that's why it was perfect. I saw like little things too, like the window, when the car crash happens, when it's zooming in on the window a little bit, it's a spider web. Like there's little things like that.
Okay. Did you notice that, or did you see that in a YouTube video?
Actually, so I read that.
Sound like a YouTube video.
I saw that on YouTube. I didn't see it in the show.
I read that for the trivia. I read the spider web on the window thing.
I only say that because I watched.
But the loop and the spider at the end, I picked up on just from watching the movie. Honestly, from thinking about it in the shower.
I did see on YouTube the spider that we see over the city. Like obviously that's like a lingering fear of commitment for him. So like, he just it's visualized as spiders. But he said that there is a statue in Montreal, because this is obviously in Toronto. That's where like it takes place, the setting. And there is a statue that looks exactly like that spider, long ass legs and the exact same top in Montreal, like as an art. It's like just a
we'll expense out a trip to go there. The small guys
and check it out for ourselves.
But I really do like even the fact that he sees the guy on like the motorcycle and that's him. Like, so like, I mean, I don't know if you got it, Andrew, but what Josh was saying is like from the director himself, he's actually a professor at a college. He has split personality disorder, obviously. And he was in 3 movies. So he starred in 3 movies, but his
like
career never picked
actor.
Up. So like he couldn't make it in Hollywood. So
I figured all that out after watching the YouTube video.
And then Mary figures out he's married, right? Like with the ring and everything.
But then my thing is like the one thing that still plays like over and over in my head is that he like how is this just now happening? Like obviously they were together long enough. She has a kid. Like, unless his like split personality just like clicked months ago.
Came in.
But then the fact that it's gonna loop and there was probably
you know why I think it happened
her again.
I think it's because with the commitment thing and the fact that she's 6 months pregnant.
She's pregnant.
He's worried about being a father. The stress is getting to him. I think he cracked. That's what 100%. I believe and got from watching it.
But there's no way that someone watches this and like, oh no, like there are 2 of them, like that actually believes that.
Well, and what did you think of like the one of them liking blueberries a lot and the other one hating it? And then
crazy.
Like what the mom said to him too. Like I thought that was all really cool too. I don't know, dude.
But that's the part where you're kind of on the fence of like, oh, are there 2 of them? Is there only one? And then he goes and visits his mom.
That battle throughout the movie, and she kind of confirms like, no, I only have one son.
I have one son, and he's like, oh, I don't like blueberries. Of course you do.
And then she goes, give up on that stupid actor idea. Like, and you're thinking the idea was the story he just told her, but no, it's his actual acting career from the past. He's not going to keep finding work. So like there's multiple ways to interpret what the character's saying to other characters. So that's really cool too. And like I said at the very beginning of the episode, the fact that like there's only like really 12 people in this movie. Like, it's a very small cast, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays the main two people. I think that's really cool. And then like too, you do notice, closer to the end of the film, wait, these characters have never been seen together.
Yeah.
At all. So, which is really cool too. And you might not even notice that watching it for the first time.
No. That's why like we got to think like we watch YouTube. Like that's the only reason we know like most of this stuff. Like you watch it. I mean, now like we watch a movie and it's like, oh, like that's that. But like this is, and that's why I enjoyed it so much, because you're on the fence. It's like Inception. It's like, what the hell did I just watch? What is this? Why is this in there? Like, and the main thing is the spiders. Like, why the hell are there just spiders all around?
Yeah,
you gotta like look into it.
And the amount of interviews I saw with Dennis too, the director, them asking him like, "Hey, what's this movie about?" or "What's this or that?" And he's like, "The movie's about my fear of spiders."
Or like he just like Jake Gyllenhaal split personality.
Yeah, like he just doesn't give a fuck about like giving them a real answer. Like he loves it that it's open ended. Like it's awesome.
Scumbag.
Yeah,
I think he does that. I mean, Prisoners is kind of open ended ending.
It is.
It looks like he did the movie Arrival. I don't recall how that ends. I feel like
Is that the one with Jeremy Renner?
Yep.
It is? Okay. The Alien movie, right?
Yeah, and Amy
I know. I don't think I ever saw that one. But I remember seeing trailers.
Amy Adams, Forrest Whitaker. This is all
a good cast.
off the top of my head. Definitely not looking at IMDb right now.
Yeah, and then him stalking the girlfriend too, Mary. That shit was, and then coming up with that plan, and then too like him yelling in the mirror to himself, right? Like practicing what he's gonna say to himself. Yeah, like and then like he claps and gets all excited, and he's like, that's the person I'm choosing to be. Like, I don't know, it's crazy to.
I've locked in who I'm going to be today. That's terrifying.
Literally, yeah. So
the one thing that, I mean, if you guys are good, I mean, we can give scores and everything in a sec, but the one thing that I still don't really know, maybe you guys can fill me in on, is at the beginning, it's all a loop. We hear like when it opens up, he's obviously at the show with the key. And, they're like crushing spiders, doing whatever they're doing there. Where that could be in his head, the spider crushing, but whatever, besides the point. His mom calls, and in the voicemail, she's like, your apartment's real, like, I don't like your apartment, and your job, like, isn't, like, up to par, or whatever. I don't know what she says exactly, but it's opposite of what we hear during the film.
Yeah.
Or at the end, where she's like, you have a respectable job, and you have a nice apartment. So it's like, what is that? Maybe from the previous time that he did it, the first time?
Yeah. So do you believe, Aiden, that or Andrew too, do you believe that he is in a loop, like he's gonna loop again? Like
100%.
Probably.
That's
but that's thinking. The thing is, I feel like that sets it up that there was a loop previous to this.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna keep going in those loops where he was the good guy that wasn't doing anything, and the movie actor guy, like the movie star, he's a douchebag, all that stuff, and then he doesn't want to be like him, but then he becomes him.
Yeah, because obviously, like the very ending where like he sees that big ass spider is fucking weird and creepy. It is, and like unexpected. But right before that scene where he's like, "Helen, you got anything going on tonight?" I think I might go to my mom's, or I'm going out, and like
I'm like, go out.
Yeah, immediately I'm like, no, he's gonna like loop or something. Like it's gonna happen again.
That's what makes the ending so much better, because you're like, oh my god, he's doing it over again, and then you don't even expect, you're like, Helen or whatever her name was, like, are you there? Or I'm going out, and then you just go and you hear the screech, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, you're like, is she gonna put her foot down? Like, is she gonna, clap back at him? And then
like, is she standing there? Like, is she gonna kill him? Is she gonna do something? Like, you don't know.
Yeah, that ending. My dad said that I was talking to him today about this one. That's why I was texting him about these movies, and he was like, I feel like I've seen that one. I'm like, I feel like you couldn't forget the ending if you did.
This movie will stay with me for a long time.
Yeah. Let me read the trivia for this, because there's some really cool ones. And I'm sure we'll maybe stop and talk about a couple of these. I mentioned this earlier. The cast signed a confidential agreement that doesn't allow them to speak or explain to the press the meaning of the spiders in the movie. That's crazy. The quote which precedes the film's opening, "Chaos is order yet predicted," is taken from the source novel. Yeah, the Double, which we mentioned that the book.
I want to read it. It'll probably be a good read.
Yeah, that'd be cool. According to the director, Javier Bardem was offered the lead role, but the actor felt like he couldn't suit the character. And Christian Bale was also offered the role and wanted to do it, but couldn't due to scheduling conflicts. That would be. Can you imagine Christian Bale doing it? Because I could.
But I feel like this is perfect for Jake Gyllenhaal.
It is.
Because Donnie Darko's weird. This is weird. And then Nightcrawler. What was I thinking about? Nightcrawler. Icing on the cake.
Yeah, and like, he had done Prisoners already, and then Nightcrawler after this. So
yeah, but Prisoners, he's like just kind of a normal guy. Like he's just a detective. But like, and all those other 3 movies, like he's a weirdo. Like, you know, like he's got
but like
that's his genre, weirdo.
Yeah,
yeah, like
but
Prisoners,
he does it so
like,
well.
Yeah, like Prisoners, he's got like that little stutter, and he like you could tell he hasn't been sleeping, and which we're gonna review that movie soon. And then too, there's like Nightcrawler, where it's like he's skinny and losing weight because he's not eating, and he's like
but he's
going
like
in
dedicated to what he's doing.
Yes,
yeah.
The song played inside the video store is called "The Cheater." The lyrics are telling a story of a guy who can't control himself with his temptations sleeping around. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Little Easter egg there. For the scenes in which Adam and Anthony are in the same room, Dennis used a tennis ball on a stick as a point of reference for Jake Gyllenhaal to know where to look. I think we've seen that before, for characters who play like the Hulk, and do play twins and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. One of the 2 movies released in 2013 about characters meeting duplicates of themselves. The other is called The Double, starring Jesse Eisenberg. The films are also both based on the novels called The Double. Really cool.
Oh, wow.
But the books and films are otherwise unrelated. So I did not know that. I've never heard of that other movie.
Yeah, me neither.
Might be good.
I think I've seen it. I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
Really? Yeah, I had never heard of it. But I don't know. Maybe it's worth checking out. While no explanation was given for the presence of the spiders, it has been analyzed by many people that they represent Adam and Anthony's weaknesses to women, making him less dominant. When Adam is looking at Anthony's bookshelf near the end of the movie, there's a book titled History in Reverse, referring to Adam and Anthony's ongoing regression from his former self. We didn't mention that too. There's a scene earlier on in the movie. I think it's when Adam's looking Anthony up and he looks at a picture of himself, and it's a picture that's ripped in half. Yeah. He later sees that same picture when he's in Anthony's.
I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, there's little scenes like that, man. And like that, you wouldn't have noticed the first time around because like I didn't really remember it. It being the exact same picture, So I thought that was really cool. When Anthony and Mary crash on their way home from the hotel, the wrecked car in the window shows a cracked screen that resembles a spider web. We mentioned that earlier. The first 2 consecutive collaborations with Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis, the other being Prisoners. However, Prisoners was released in 2013 before this film came out. So that was my last trivia. There was a ton of other cool ones. Obviously, we tackled a lot of them earlier from the YouTube videos. But yeah, it was really funny watching a couple of those breakdowns and like everyone in the comments being like, I had to come watch a YouTube video explaining to me,
Well, that's the other thing. When I saw the Instagram post for this, I went in the comments and they're like, worst movie ever. Still don't get it. Awful movie. Like, everyone's just bashing it. And then people are like, absolutely greatest movie ever made. Like, it's 50-50.
Yeah, I feel like some movies, like, that's the point of it. Like, it's supposed to be up to your interpretation. Like, not everything needs a clear-cut, cookie-cutter
picture. Some people hate that. They want it handed out, like, on a silver platter. Like, this is what it is, and this is over.
I like a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. Like, for the story, though, you know what you're going to expect, and I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, see, like, honestly, the movie that this reminded me the most of is one we recently did, Eyes Wide Shut, because, like, it's with the cheating, the sex.
I thought about that too, actually.
Yeah, and like you don't know what's real and what's not, and that's also what it reminded me of a lot. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's because there's so much sex in it.
And that's but my next recommendation is Clockwork Orange, and that's probably the worst out of the 3. So
really,
yeah,
the worst. Oh, geez.
I'm saying is in like that
like
stuff.
The sex.
Yeah, like that stuff's in it.
Wow, there's a whole sex code in the Eyes Wide Shut. So
yeah, I mean, no, that's definitely the most nudity, but. Clockwork Orange is
fourth pick, like I said, will be on Pornhub.
Yeah,
it's just like, but those movies, like, but that's the fact is, and that's why I like recommending them because you literally watch them, you're like, what? Like, you literally look left and right, you're like, what did I just watch?
Yeah,
it's good, like it's entertaining, and you're like, you just keep thinking about it.
Yeah. The fact that you can go a couple of days after seeing a movie and remember it, think about it, be like, damn, like I think that's
like
very
multiple
powerful,
endings to a video game.
Yeah, it is. And you can interpret it in different ways, right? You could watch it with someone and then think, oh, maybe that was his doppelganger. You could have people that think that.
I feel like it makes it more worth your time. Like, it's worth the watch. You get more out of it than just like, all right, I just watched a movie for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. Or maybe they think the spiders are aliens invading or something. You know what I mean? Like you could interpret it that way, I guess.
People like the spiders are real. They're like, he even said in an interview, he's like, no.
Like, so I saw a thing where a couple people were bashing the movie because they thought the spiders were real and they're confused by it. And like, so that's like, and I think Andrew said it earlier on too, where it's like the ending could piss people off because it's so confusing and weird
100%.
that that's probably why, got
the average
reviews.
person might just check out on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure even like a star reviewer who's getting paid to review movies probably would even think that maybe. I don't know.
Imagine watching this in 2014.
Yeah, without the videos.
Yeah, without the videos or even without like any interviews or anything. You're just like watching it. I couldn't imagine our takes on it if we watched it when it first came out. Be like, what is this?
And to this movie's credit, with only 1 million in the US, it was a limited release too. So I mean, another thing about it being kind of an indie-ish film, that doesn't help. But I think it probably picked up a lot more steam on streaming, right? Which some of these movies do. So yeah, I think this movie is great. But if you guys want to get into kind of like giving scores, reviews.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Want me to start off?
Yeah.
Or no, I mean, I can't start off. It's my recommendation. So I mean, I'm glad that you guys both sat through it. I'm curious to see, like, when you guys give your scores, I want to, like, did you enjoy watching this? Like, was it worth your time? Like, are you glad you watched it, basically? Which I think, we all enjoyed it. But I am pissed. I wish Mike and Brian were here, especially hearing Mike's take on it. I feel like it would have been funny as
that would have been funny.
Mike would have
I think Brian said he's going to watch it anyway.
Worst movie ever. It doesn't make any sense. Like, Mike's like, just something like that. But no, I mean, I stumbled across this movie. I'm glad I did. I put it off for a while. It was on my list.
It is on HBO too, if you want to watch it.
It is on HBO Max, so definitely give it a try if you like psychological
fucking weird
thrillers.
Movies.
But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we hit everything. There's not much to say about it, but I did enjoy it, and I will highly recommend this to people that enjoy movies. Like, I was talking to my grandma earlier, and she's like, "Ooh, that sounds good," but I'm like, I don't know if you'd like it. Like, but I mean, to each their own. Give it a try. It doesn't hurt. If you hate it, turn it off. If you like it, watch it through and then listen to the podcast. But no, I mean, I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a great ass job. Denis Villeneuve, great ass director. I mean, other than that, one thing I do want to give props to is the lighting of the movie. I don't know if you guys could tell, but like I'm gonna rewatch this movie here pretty soon. Like, not tonight, but eventually soon. But like,
scared tonight.
The yellow tone, like how it's like, it's just eerie. It makes you uneasy. And like
the score too, dude.
The score is great. The lighting is great, and
makes
then
it
even
eerie
like
too.
the blue tone that they have, like when he's like trying to like, it kind of varies between the two of them. So I like how they do that. But after watching this, I mean, I've only seen it once. I feel confident giving it a 90 out of 100. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, I can go next. I wasn't expecting this movie to kind of catch me off guard this much. I mean, Aiden had said like, it's weird. He's like, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I mean, this is fresh after he watched it, right? So I didn't really know what to expect going into it, and I'm really happy I didn't read anything on it or do a trailer. Like, this is one of the few movies where you're like, damn, I'm really happy I went in blind, right? Because I mean, and you guys were telling me it's weird, like it ends weird, and I can't even imagine going into it completely blind. So hopefully if you're listening to this, you've seen the movie. But yeah, and I like the subtle stuff, like with the spiders, and like both characters kind of having like one being a little messier with the hair, and then like they are different in ways where like one's really nice and caring and is a teacher, and one's a little bit more of an asshole and a little edgy, kind of only cares about himself. So I like the difference between the characters. You could kind of start telling them apart once you get further in the movie, which that was really cool too. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with an 87. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I think the pacing works pretty well. and it's the perfect length. Like I said, if it was 20 minutes longer, I think it would have been a lot worse. I think it worked out perfectly with the time they went with. So it's really cool they can make this good of a movie in 90 minutes. So
gotcha. I will finish us off the review here. It's a good movie. Like you got to at least watch it once. And I would say take the time to, I mean, if you've listened to this podcast, you kind of got some explanation, but I'd say if you watch this and you've never seen it, check out a YouTube video too, maybe a 10-minute one, give you an extra explanation on top of maybe what we said. We did cover a lot of it. Like Aiden said, the tone of this movie and the theme with the yellow tone of it, and what they have going, it makes the whole thing, you're uncomfortable throughout it. It's not necessarily that it's like a nail biter thriller, like some things. This is more of like, what the heck is going on the whole time you're watching it,
literally,
like, all the way through. I think that's the best way to describe it. I will go a little bit lower than these guys. Not, it's how we enjoy it. I'm going with an 80 flat. I still think that you should check this out. I don't think that it deserves the whatever the audience gave it, a 64. Yeah, I don't think it's that low.
I think people don't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah, that's
like,
I'm going a little
they
lower.
Still sit there. They're like, worst movie ever.
But it's definitely worth checking out at least once. I definitely would say that.
Well, no, and us giving it kind of a higher scores. I mean, we're all in that 80, within 10 points of each other. I think I could see definitely for sure people hating it, right? Like if you don't understand it and you don't want to even think about looking it up on YouTube as an explanation or read anything on it, you're just like, fuck, I wasted an hour and a half on that movie. Like, I don't want to, I don't care about it. I could see that for sure. But once you do kind of pick up on those things, maybe even if you do rewatch it or if you do watch a YouTube video explaining it, I think you can kind of, come around to being like, wow, that was actually a really good movie.
I will say this too, some I want to add. There's a lot of movies where I feel like, oh, that could have been a little bit longer, or you could have cut a little bit. I think this is a perfect length, this movie. If it was a little bit longer, I think 100%. I would have kind of zoned out a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And a little bit shorter would have almost just been strange. Like,
yeah,
you kind of need everything that's in it. But any more, I feel like maybe would have brought down my score a little bit more. I feel like this is just the perfect amount of time where you can knock it out. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a good recommendation by Aiden.
Yeah,
I think it was good. You're 2 for 2 so far, so don't blow it.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, like, but just to like close out too is like I said, I mean, I would have never recommended this if like I didn't like it when I'm watching it for the first time, and I hope that a lot more people go and watch this movie now that we reviewed it. But
yeah, like, and I'm sure we'll
ending, man. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that ended the way that this one ended, because it's not like it's a scary movie.
That's
like,
the thing.
And then it's just like, it's just such a startle, and it just doesn't make any sense. And like immediately you just like, all right, we gotta I gotta get more opinions on this.
I need this broken down. I have to share this. It's off topic, but it's movie related at least. Emma just texted me and said, "Have you ever seen Shawshank Redemption?"
Must not be an.
You're like the best movie of all time. Yeah,
one of the best movies ever. Yes, I'll be recommending that one to her.
yeah. That's a long watch though.
It is.
But it's worth it.
We reviewed it. If you're listening, check that one out.
It's one of our first ones.
Yeah, it's
episode.
We might have too many episodes 18. Nowadays, because people have been hitting me up saying you guys should really do Fight Club. I'm like,
oh really?
That's one of our better episodes, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
we did. Just gotta scroll.
Yeah, so that was our Enemy review. We will be back Friday. We're doing Creed 3. I'm really excited for that movie too. I think the first two are really good. And we should have the boys back for that.
Yeah, I hope.
But yeah. If you're listening to this, go download on Apple and Spotify, iHeart. Shout out iHeart. And then we have Discord. Go check that out. Go check us out on YouTube. All that jazz.
I would say if anyone would like to recommend a movie, or you have comments or anything, you don't like something we do, you really like something we do, two best places for that is probably Discord or YouTube on the comments. Let us know in either of those spots. You can also Instagram DM, tweet at us. We're on every platform, so let us know. We have gotten a little bit of feedback here and there, which kind of helps us. We love our our people. We've had some negative comments too, but it helps us adapt and do a better job for you guys, everyone that's listening.
Yeah,
I definitely messed up this episode towards the beginning. So if someone could call me out on it, that's not a part of this podcast.
Why would you do?
I don't. If someone could call me out, I'll give you $1. I'll Venmo you $1.
You did say at the beginning that you probably wouldn't rewatch it, and then now you've come to the conclusion that you are.
No, it's not it. I'll tell you that that's not it. But if if a listener can listen or watch this episode and point out where I went wrong,
I'll send you $1.
Venmo you $1.
I'm sure Mike will.
But can't be a part of the podcast.
Mike needs it.
Can't be part.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. Yeah.
But
so there you
all
go.
right, boys.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you.